Hi guys, YGOSmurf here, and today I'm going to be discussing a card, Dark Bribe. It's a tech card, counter trap card that negates a spell and a trap, and most people have forgotten about it recently, and I'm not sure why. So I'm making this video to remind people. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about three things. What Dark Bribe is, I'm going to give you its actual effect. 2, counter arguments against why you shouldn't play it, meaning I'm going to give you reasons why you want to play it. And 3, when to play it and how to play it effectively. On to the what is it portion of this video. Dark Bribe. It is a counter trap card, which effect reads, when an opponent's spell or trap card is activated, negate the activation, destroy it, and your opponent draws a card. Before we move on to the next portion of this video, I just kind of want to give you a disclaimer. If you already think Dark Bribe is a good card, or you think that you want to try and run it, go ahead and click the annotation on the screen right now and it'll skip to how to play it effectively onto facing the arguments. So, the first argument I'm going to counter is Dark Bribe is bad because it gives your opponent a draw. Well, what if Dark Bribe is saving a card on your field? What if it's saving more than one card on your field? Their draw shouldn't be better than saving 2 cards or sometimes even 1 card on your field. It shouldn't matter. It won't matter if you use it effectively. From that argument, there's kind of 2 separate genres. One is, okay, so Starlight Road works better than Dark Bribe. Run Starlight Road, plus you get a Stardust Dragon. Well, see, Starlight Road only works when more than 1 card is going to be destroyed. Well, Dark Bribe has the option to work whenever. As well as you have to think about, do you have room in your extra deck for a Stardust? And is it just going to sit there with Starlight Road being your only option to summon it? So the next argument that stems from your opponent drawing a card is, what if your opponent draws a better card? That shouldn't matter, because you should be using Dark Bribe effectively to negate the worst case cards for you. A card that you can't deal with otherwise. Also, this game is based on luck. Sometimes your opponent is just going to draw a better card. It doesn't mean you lost the game because you made your opponent draw that card. They were going to draw that card next turn most likely anyways and wreck your face even harder if they wouldn't have already won the game. Still not convinced? Think that 7 Tools of Bandit is just better? Well, first off, I'm going to give you an example. A lot of people think 1 card is worth 1,000 life points with Upstart Goblin. My point in bringing up Upstart Goblin is that most people think 1 card is worth 1,000 life points. That these two things are equal in cost and congruency, and just it makes sense that 1 card equals 1,000 life points just from the Upstart kind of theory. If we examine the cost of 7 Tools of Bandit and Dark Bribe, 7 tools being 1,000 life points, Dark Bribe being 1 card, their cost are equal, but their effects are not. Dark Bribe can negate any spell or trap card. 7 Tools of Bandit can only negate trap cards. Their costs are effectively equal, but one does so much more than the other card. With your versatility of running Dark Bribe over 7 Tools of Bandit, their costs are effectively equal, but you get like twice the versatility for an equal cost. Hopefully you're convinced that Dark Bribe definitely has its niche. I'm not saying 7 Tools of Bandit is bad. As I previously just stated, sometimes 7 Tools is better than Dark Bribe, and sometimes Dark Bribe is better than 7 Tools. But I feel like people discredit Dark Bribe at first glance for no real reason. On to the next portion of the video, which I'm calling Bribe Theory, or when to play Dark Bribe. I'm going to be talking about 3 general situations that you would want to activate Dark Bribe in. I'm going to be giving you examples of good and bad cards to negate with Dark Bribe. All of these cards will be spell cards because we want to know what that extra versatility of Dark Bribes negating the spell cards does for the deck. Just so you're still aware, there are many trap cards that do similar things to these spell card examples that you can still activate Dark Bribe on. I just want to highlight the extra special situations that Dark Bribe can do over 7 Tools of the Bandit. The first situation is when your opponent is going to manipulate more than 1 card, meaning that if you activated Dark Bribe, they would technically still get their 1 draw, but instead of getting like 3 draws, or 2 draws, or 4, or milling 5, or something like to that extent. Some good examples to stop with Dark Bribe, so to activate Dark Bribe against, is Booj Incarnation. This card is an instant exceed for Boojins. The next card is Sylvan Charity. This thing allows your opponent to draw 3 cards and then virtually stack the deck in their favor, so that way their other Sylvan cards can excavate and get the most out of. Some bad examples in this situation to negate with Dark Bribe are Fire Formation, Tanky, and Reinforcement of the Army. Most of the decks that play this are running triple of whatever they're about to search, so having them draw that extra card isn't really going to stop their odds of getting the same card they want, and it's not going to help you out very much. On to the next situation is when your opponent is going to ruin your card economy. So when they're going to destroy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, make you discard, banish cards from your graveyard, whatever. Some good examples to Dark Bribe in this situation are Dark Hole and System Down. Some bad examples to activate in this Dark Bribe against in this situation are Mystical Space Typhoon and Smashing Ground. So these cards only destroy 1 card, and destroying that 1 card isn't worth your opponent drawing into another card, especially if they're going to draw into another Mystical Space Typhoon or Smashing Ground, because both of these cards are at 3, unless for some reason this 1 card is really securing you the duel and really securing you the win. You don't want a Dark Bribe. Third situation is when your opponent is going to have a cost for their card. So an example of this would be Solar Recharge. Your opponent has to discard a Lightsworn, and then they would draw 2 and mill 2. That's 4 cards that they get to manipulate that you don't want them to do. There are many different situations that you would want to activate Dark Bribe in, with, again, spells and traps. Also, Dark Bribe could be more effective against some decks, could be more effective in some decks, or could be more effective as a side deck. But that's up to you to decide for yourself and your own deck. Hopefully you've recognized that Dark Bribe has its niche, and as well as how to play it effectively. As always, if you have comments or suggestions about how to play Dark Bribe even more effectively, or if you have an example of an argument why it's bad, put it down in the comments. I'll comment, other people will comment. It'll be a wonderful day, lots of knowledge learned. Give me a thumbs up or subscribe to me if you think me worthy, and have a wonderful day, YouTube.